Hi, I'm Dave from Hectors Smokehouse, and today I'm going to go through the seasoning process for a Stumps gravity fed smoker. This one in particular is a junior, so we're going to go through spraying it with oil, taking all the racks out, cleaning it down, getting rid of any swarf, and then basically spraying everywhere, and then cooking on it and putting the charcoal in, taking it up to about 300 degrees F, and that'll help to actually season it. So we want to make sure we cover all of the welds and all those parts of it to make sure that there's no chance of any rusting. So we want to get a really good season actually inside the smoker before we actually cook on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open her up and we're going to take all the shelves out. We're going to spray all of the shelves outside of the smoker. We'll take the drip tray out as well, and then we'll get we've got some canola spray. So I'm going to spray inside everywhere with the canola spray, a really good coating. All the sides, all the top, even the doors, all of the shelves, and we'll make sure that there's a really good coating in there before we actually start the smoker. So all the shelves are out now, and we're just going to take out the drip tray, and then we can see inside to actually start to spray everything. So what we'll do is spray everything individually, and then we'll actually spray inside as well. So before we start to spray inside, what we want to do is just give it a bit of a clean out. You can see there's all sorts of swarf, dust, bit of everything in here. So we're going to give it a really good clean out with a brush first before we actually spray in there. Okay, so that's pretty much cleaned out now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there with this oil and spray off and try and cover everywhere I can. So this is really even a nice thick coat, even the top of it, the roof. Pay particular attention to get the places where you've got welds, again just to make sure there's no chance of any rusting. So a really good thick nice even coat all the way around the smoker. So again, make sure you've got those welds underneath where the racks are, the drawers, the runners. So make sure you've done all of those, make sure you've got underneath and covered those welds well. So it's a really good, nice thick coating. This is what you're trying to get on this. So you should be able to see this a little bit better. Make sure you get all those edges. And a nice thick coat. As I say, try and cover all of those welds and inside the runners as well. So also try to cover the door. Try and keep away from not as much on the seal, but just try and get a nice even coat on there, and that'll get rid of and keep away some of the rust within there. So make sure everywhere's covered. Okay, so I'm now going to try and do each of the trays. So again, this is the drip tray. Make sure the drip tray is nice and covered. So do each one of those and put them back in. So now we're going to try and do the racks. So again, make sure you cover all the way around the edges, and then the rack itself. Again, make sure you're covering all sides of this. And then turn it around, and then this is the more important side, because under here you can see all the welds, so make sure you cover that well as well. And that's it, and we'll just put those back in. So that's the whole of the inside done now. So I'm pretty happy that I've got enough coverage in there. What I'm going to do now is I'll probably do a little bit in the ashtray, and I'm also going to do a little bit on the charcoal chute. Okay, so here's the charcoal chute. We're going to put some foil on here later. I'll show you how to do that to stop this from getting creosote. But what we'll do is just put a little bit of that in there for now. Maybe just around these edges as well. Just the top of here, we'll cover some of that off as well. So we'll put that on. I'll just wipe around here to take off some of the surplus. And finally we'll have a quick spray inside the ash area. So I'm going to do the door. Take the ash pan out. The inside there, a good spray. Don't know whether you're actually supposed to do this, but I always have done. So we'll do that. We'll spray the ash pan just quickly. And again, just trying to make sure you get those welded areas. So we'll put that in there, and then we're about ready to go. So what we'll do now is, this is the first time I've lit this, so what I'm going to do is light it very simply with a chimney. In the first instance, normally I use a map torch, but in this instance I'll just use a chimney. Okay, so I've got half a chimney full of Kingsford, so it's not a massive amount. Just turn this on and light it hopefully. I can undo this. So we'll just light the fire lighter. Stick the chimney, and we'll come back in a few minutes and look at the chimney once it's actually got the charcoals going, and then we're going to pour them into the chute, and then we'll pour some more Kingsford into there. So one of the things that does happen, you do get a bit of creosote actually in this area underneath the seal on this surface. So what I do is get a piece of foil, and then I'm going to fold the foil several times. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it to the shape of that seal that's in there. And we're going to leave it in there all the time then. Let's have a look at the width. So actually that's just about right in terms of the width, and then we're going to do the length as well. And what this does is it means that this foil gets covered in all the creosote, and it protects the inside of your stump. So let's have a look what that looks like. That's about dead on. So typically that'll sit in there like that, or we'll put it, yeah, that way I think. So that'll sit in there like so, and maybe do a little bit more of a fold, and that'll close down onto it. So yeah, I highly recommend that you actually make something like this, just to make sure that you keep the creosote off and the inside of there and stops all that yuck forming. Okay, so we've got the charcoal going, we've got a bit of colour in there, so we're going to lift the charcoal chute up, move away my new piece of foil. We'll put this in there to start with. So I've not put a great deal in there, and then what I'll do is I'll add enough for maybe 2 or 3 hours, so I don't want a big long cook in here. So I've got some Kingsford going in there. It's not going to need much more than that. So a bit of Kingsford in there. Yep, that should be good. So we'll put that back on. fasten it down. We obviously then need to open up the chimney, and then we're going to adjust the ball valve as well. So I'll show you that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the ball valve to start with. So that's closed, that's fully open, so you can see that fully open now. We'll open it fully. I want to get it to about 300, so it might take a while to do that. It goes a lot quicker if you put the Cyber Q on. It's really important if you're doing it without the DigiQ, make sure you take the DigiQ adapter off because the hole's too small. You've got to need that bigger hole to make sure you get more airflow through. So we're going to start to heat it up. I'll get it to around about 250, and then I'll start to crank this back and close the air off until I get it to settle around about 300, 275, 300 F, somewhere around there. So you can see we've got some little bit of smoke now starting to come out of the chimney stack when the wind stops blowing. But we've got a little bit of smoke actually starting to come out of there now, which is good. And we just need it to start lifting its temperature now. So I'm just getting the temperature to above around about 300. So currently it's about 250, 260. I have put the barbecue Goro on, so I'll show you what that looks like. It just gets the temperature up a lot quicker in the stump if you've got a Goro on with a continual blowing. So it works really well. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. Okay, so you can see the barbecue Goro here. So what we've got is we've got the blower, the fan, actually going here. Make sure that this is open. There's a slider that opens and closes the Goro. So that's on there. That then goes into the controller. So this is the DigiQ. And you can set the temperature. You've got one wire actually going under the seal into the smoker, and that's setting the temperature inside. You can actually put another one that goes into food in there if you want to. And then the other wire comes back out and is heading into the fan, and then blowing obviously air onto the charcoal, and that's raising the temperature. So it works really well. It gets the temperature up very quickly. You can see that's around about 280 and climbing now. Within the next 5 minutes that'll be at 300 and then won't move at all. So I can highly recommend getting a barbecue Guru if you get a stump smoker. So this has been going now, it's nearly at 300. It's been going for probably 40 minutes, and you can see the oil dripping and covering all of the grills. So I want to keep that going so it actually starts to season. So I want to keep this going for maybe another hour or so, and then I'll crank it back down again and turn it off. But I want to get that nice and seasoned, get that oil in there, and get it to season all of those metal surfaces. So the stump's been chugging along round about 300 F now for an hour and a half, 2 hours, so I think it's just about done. You can see down on the DigiQ it's dead on 300 at the moment, and if I actually come up to the stump thermometer there as well, almost dead on the same, so they're within 3 or 4 degrees I reckon of each other, which is fantastic. But the cook's got the seasoning's gone really well. So I think we're just about there now, and we'll have a look inside in a minute. So there you go, you can actually start to see the colour now on the inside and also on all of the shelves. That's it seasoned. I think I'll just leave it ticking along like that, but you can actually see the change of colour all around the door, all around the inside of this door, and also on all of the racks in there as well. So that seems to have seasoned really well. I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the video. Hopefully you found it educational. Hopefully now you can season a stump smoker, whether it be a junior, a classic, an XL baby or a baby. It's quite easy to do, nothing complicated about it, but I think it's really important to make sure you keep your smoker in best condition and you don't get any rust on it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Look forward to talking to you again soon.